listening to Flashpoint Radio, Rise and Shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and CoraleeKaren, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, it will all seem better outside. Just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours Are we part of this circus? Is it innate? Feels like a heavy burden, but I can't relate. Do our actions even matter? Or is this a fate? At least now I'm feeling better, I know I'm here to stay. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, it will all seem
Welcome to the breakfast hour, Rise
Just us in the
and
sky.
Shine. I hope that you are already off to a good start. If you are in the Cayman Islands, I tell you, it has been a busy morning. I think there are persons who never sleep, but regardless of where you find yourself this morning, I want to welcome you to the breakfast hour. And I know that some of you catch on to the breakfast hour later in the day. And so whatever information is shared here is relevant throughout the day, 24/7, night, day, whenever I got a chance to tune in. I want to welcome you to the breakfast hour. I'm yours truly, Lady Elise, and of course, Mikey G is in the house.
Well, I say good morning to our listeners this morning, and of course, a beautiful Tuesday morning. And indeed,
Yeah.
it is a pleasant and good thing to be alive and here today. God is indeed good. And, you know, when I think about it, we have so many people who are grieving the loss of their loved ones. And,
Yeah.
of course, later on, we may share a few things with you. But today, we want to say, you know, whatever circumstances, whatever it is that we are going through, or whatever it is that ails us or we are dealing with, you know, we
Yes.
always have a God that is amazing, who never fails us, and always standing by for us every single time. So, with that said, Lady Elise, we want to say welcome to the breakfast hour.
Welcome to the breakfast hour. And so, as we kickstart day off, I know you are ready to take your notes. Our financial advisor is also ready to share with you key financial tips. But before he comes on, we will have, I'm not sure, devotional or, of course, message from
Or-
our sponsor.
Our devotional comes up at this time, of course. But before that, a message from our sponsors, as Lady Elise would say.
Looking to build your dream home or renovate your space? M&M Construction is the perfect place. We bring your vision to life with precision and quality craftsmanship. From design to construction, we guide you every step, ensuring seamless coordination and superior results. Our professional roof inspection and maintenance services will ensure that your roof is sturdy this hurricane season. So, if you are ready to start your construction journey, call us today at 345-927-7509. Build with confidence. Build with M&M Construction. 345-927-7509.
Good morning. This is day 24. I delivered to you first of all that which I also received, that Christ died for our sins according to the scriptures. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 3. King of Our Lives, written by Albert Lee. Some 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, Pontius Pilate commanded that a placard be placed on the cross that read, "Jesus of Nazareth, the King of the Jews." Perhaps Pilate sought to induce fear among the people and discourage them from crowning their own king. King of the Jews. Was it an original thought at the time? Perhaps it had been introduced when the wise men asked, "Where is he who has been born King of the Jews?" They had sought the fulfillment of this promise. For unto us a child is born, the government will be upon his shoulder, and his name will be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. They believed Jesus was this child. Later, when Christ was crucified, some jeered, "If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross." They wanted to see if Jesus really was king. But Jesus did not come down. The true meaning of the cross is that Christ died for our sins. He who paid the penalty of our sins has made God's forgiveness possible. Those who accept God's forgiveness and ask Jesus Christ to be their Savior and Lord can have only one appropriate response: to serve Him. He is King of our lives. King of my life, I crown thee now. Thine shall the glory be, lest I forget thy thorn-crowned brow. Lead me to Calvary. Jesus is always King. Our quote this morning reads, "Jesus is King of our lives, so we must serve Him all of our lives." End quote.
I'm Audley Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio, Rise and Shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun, with Mikey G, Lady Elise, and CoraleeKaren, the unmistakable combination synergized to navigate.
Welcome back. It is breakfast hour, and of course, we are keeping the conversation all real. You know, we have been having conversation recently a lot about finances and how we have to manage the resources that we do have. And of course, joining us this morning is our financial advisor, Mr. Richard Hellwell. And he has been sharing with us a vast amount of information. I hope you have been taking notes. And so we want to welcome him today. I'm not sure what he's going to be presenting, but certainly I'm sure that it will be something that's worth listening to. So I ask you at this moment to go ahead and share the link to someone who needs this information, and I'm sure we all do.
Financial advice this morning. Of course, it's Financial Tuesday. And so welcome, Sir Richard, to the breakfast hour this morning once again. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mikey G. Good morning, Lady Elise. How are you this morning?
Well, as you say to me first, and you said good morning to me first, I'm going to answer first as protocol would demonstrate. So good morning, sir. Of course, we are anxiously awaiting, what is on the list of things that we must do this week. Of course, it is Tuesday, and financially, we want to be better at what we do. So many things are going on, and now we are hearing how much more we need to have that extra amount of funds or manage our money better so we can be better people within our society and taking care of our families. All right, Lady Elise, I guess I'm going to do that, and that's your time.
Yes, you said it right. You said it right. So I want to say good morning, Mr. Richard and Thelwell, and I'm sure you have a lot to share with us, and my ears are peeled and ready.
All right. Well, this morning, in keeping with the question that have been asked, where can I invest? So last week we looked at the stock market. And before I continue, I would also like to say thank you for having me again on this Tuesday, Financial Tuesday, and welcome to our guests who are currently online and will be seeing this at a later time. But the good thing is that it will still be relevant whether you see it now or later in the day. So again, welcome to another Financial Tuesday on Flashpoint Radio. As I mentioned, we looked at stocks last week, and today we want to now look at what we call debt instruments. What they are, who issues them, and how can we benefit from them. So, first of all, we mentioned, and we're going to look at a corporation or a company. And we asked a question some time ago, and I'll ask again just for viewers who may just be seeing this episode. And Mikey, Lady Elise, I'd love one of you to answer me. If you were to go and open a business today, where would you get your money from?
My pocket.
Okay, and where else?
Friends, family members,
Okay.
and maybe the bank.
All right. So friends and family, we will call those equity. The bank we will call debt. So if you realize what has just happened is that when we speak of stocks and bonds, what we do, the equity, what you put in, is yours. So let's look at ABC Limited, for example, or ABC Corporation. They have put in some of their own money. They then decide to share the profits of that company with other persons. And so individuals will buy shares in that company. And so those persons who have shares in the company are now considered equity or stockholders. But we flip this switch. You also mentioned the bank. When that same company borrows money from the bank, what you find is that the company now is indebted to the bank, or the bank has a lien over funds or an instrument in the company. Where am I going? From the company's point of view, those friends and family that come and join with them are also called equity holders or shareholders. The persons who borrow money are called debtors. Now, a bond is therefore a debt instrument, simply put, right? What happens, however, is that no one bank has enough money to lend to some of these larger corporations. Think Apple, whose monies they need are in the millions or even billions of dollars. So what you find is that they now go to the same public that they would have gotten their shares from and ask, would you be interested to lend us some money? And so that is what happens. So when you, the individual investor, buy a bond, you are actually lending money to the corporation, ABC Corporation, right? So the bond or debt instrument, that I'd rather say, comes in two flavors: government and corporate. So we spoke about corporate a while ago with ABC Corporation, but you can have the government also borrowing money from you. So you'll have government bonds. Other formal government instruments you will have heard of would have been like treasury bills and municipal paper. Banks also issue certificates of deposit and other commercial paper. So who issues these debt instruments? Government, in terms of treasury bonds, bills, notes, and they use these to fund their operations, such as road building, bridge building, schools, etc. Corporations, on the other hand, issue bonds to expand their business, fund projects, maybe even restructure other debt, or sometimes, depending on the side of the equipment, purchase equipment. What are the key differences between both two? A government bond is backed by the ability of the government to repay you. A corporate bond is backed by the corporation's ability to repay you. So who would you rather have backing you? The government who can collect taxes from everybody else, or a corporation who can only get money through profit?
Well, I believe
I
think
that question, I can hear it. Comment is
I would say the government would be the more likely person in my mind.
And that you're correct.
And
And
I
so
see
because of that,
I've seen many persons over the years when there was government bonds being sold, papers were being sold to the public. People went and bought them, and it was such a lucrative thing to do at the time back in the 90s. I remember this happening, and people were just becoming wealthier by the second doing that.
exactly. And so what you find too is that because it is backed by the government can actually tax the rest of the population and to pay back that interest as well as the principal a little later on. As I mentioned, the corporation now will have a higher risk because they have to depend on the project coming through for them to pay you back, right? So what you now find is that government bonds or government paper tend to be, what's the right word? The risk is low and therefore the rewards are also lower. So the interest rate on a government paper usually is in the 2 to 3% range. Right now, interestingly though, in the United States, government paper, you can get government paper as much as 5%, depending on which paper, of course, and the length of time that you're holding it, right? So that is where we are. And again, risk reward, corporate paper, you can get corporate paper now somewhere in the region of about 8%. And again, because the reward is greater, because the risk, as you mentioned, is greater. Now, how do I earn from debt instruments? There are three ways to do it. One, interest income. Like any debt, if you go to the bank and borrow money, you have to pay back principal and interest. So the interest becomes a portion of debt instruments. In a bond, it is called a coupon payment. And coupons can be usually quarterly, semi-annual, and annual. However, I've heard of monthly payments, but it's very, very rare, right? So it's usually quarterly. That's the flavor that seems to be the one that is called upon most. But we also have semi-annual and annual. The second way you can earn on it is through capital appreciation. What you find is that in the bond market, just like the stock market, the bonds are traded. And so you can buy a $1 bond today, and another few weeks on the road, it is now worth $1.05. That's a 5% growth on your money within the space of a few weeks. So sometimes that happens, right? And that tend to happen, and I'm not getting into much detail here, in a interest rate economy where the interest rates are declining. So I may have a 5% bond. It becomes more favorable if the next bond that is issued is at 4.5%. All right? And so that is what is called capital appreciation. And then the final way is through compounding. So instead of spending your interest, what you do, you reinvest it to get higher future earnings. And since we mentioned compounding, let us look at the power of compounding. Now, I created two scenarios here for you. One, for long-term growth, and two, for shorter time horizon. Now, let us make an assumption. We have a 30-year-old who invests $100 each month into a bond that is earning 3%. They're trying to be, risk averse, so they're going with a low interest rate because of length of time, to make sure that they get their monies back. And they're going to do it for 30 years. This person wants to retire at age 60. Now, at age 60, they would have deposited $36,000, right? 30 times 12, right? Times, 100 times 12 times 30 years, $36,000. The second scenario we're going to look at is a 50-year-old who also wants to retire at 60 and decides to put down that $36,000 in a lump sum at age 50. Now let's look at how their investment grows. At age 60, the 30-year-old would have compounded a 58,000, I'll make a note here, 58,274. That's $58,000, 274. The 50-year-old who had put on that $36,000 lump sum at age 50, at age 60, using the same compounding, but this time for a shorter period, would have accumulated $48,381. $10,000, approximately $10,000 less than the person who would have been putting down for 30 years, a small figure. So what's our key takeaway from this? One, debt instruments offer lower risk than stocks, but can still generate a nice, steady stream of income. Government securities are generally safer, while corporate bonds provide higher yields. Compounding can significantly boost your returns over time. Start early and you will see the compounding. Start early with what you have. A small investment beats investing large lump sums later. And just to show you, if you put down that money now, so they are both 60-year-old today, and they're going to now start collecting their 3% because now it becomes a stream of income for them. That 30-year-old will receive $437 every quarter. The 50-year-old will receive $362 per quarter. And by the way, Once you have that lump sum there, it is yours for life. Of course, if these persons that come to me, then I would recommend them, hey, listen, keep it for another 5 years until you retire. Don't want to take early retirement. Right? So this demonstrates that early, consistent investing leads to a higher passive income during retirement. Thank you very much. That's my real take today on the different types of investments, or a different type of investment, looking primarily at debt instruments. Over to you.
I say when you think about retiring, and you say keep it longer, a little longer, retire later for later. Don't take it too early, so it can give you the returns more. Advice to the wise, it do well for you, when you take such advice. And I'm listening, I'm listening to the conversation, and I'm sure that many of our listeners are benefiting significantly from just the talk that is happening here. And of course, if need more information, of course, there is a way to get more. So I guess you're going to tell us this morning how to reach you and let our listeners know how to get in contact to get more of the information that you're sharing.
Of course, you can email me at broker@richardselwell.com, and of course, through your various platforms at Flashpoint Media, you can view back the podcast that we'll be sharing. Lady Elise is working with me to compile all of them, so they'll all be in one place for you in the near future. All right.
So this is season 1 of Financial Talk.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank Richard so much. I noticed that Mikey G was all ears. And I'm all in. Taking in all the information that we required. Certainly, we recognize that it's important for us to be in the know and be literate. So I want to thank you, Richard, for taking time out of your busy schedule to share this necessary information with you. We look forward to what you will share on the very next episode, which comes up next Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us, Richard.
You're most welcome, and thank you for having me.
All right, with that note, we want to say thank you guys for staying with us. Of course, we have our news coming up next right here on Flash.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They are conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 25, and these are the news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I'm CoraleeKaren. Lawyers say Cayman's PR points system is not working. The Cayman Islands Permanent Residency Points System is failing to function effectively, according to immigration lawyer Nick Joseph, founder of Reside Cayman. Joseph argues that the system, intended to filter long-term residents based on economic contribution and integration into society, does not differentiate meaningfully between applicants. As a result, individuals in vastly different professions, such as a brain surgeon and a bus driver, can receive the same points for education and employment, undermining the policy's original intent. Cayman Islands National Party holds first rally. The Cayman Islands National Party launched its first official rally outlining its commitments in education, transport, development, and immigration, addressing key concerns such as cost of living, employment, and traffic congestion. The party emphasized actionable commitments rather than campaign promises. The rally, held at Campus Green in Georgetown, featured enthusiastic supporters and a moment of humor when a technical glitch led to some candidates being introduced twice. Party leader Don Scott made a dramatic entrance to the tune of "Don Scott is the Man for Cayman." Key takeaways from Bordentown East Candidates Forum. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce hosted the 7th forum in its candidate series, featuring a head-to-head debate between incumbent Dave John Seymour and challenger Robert Bodden. Seymour highlighted his ministerial experience, while Bodden positioned himself as a relatable alternative, calling for an end to, quote, empty promises and election time handouts, end quote. The forum was part of the lead-up to the Cayman Islands 2025 elections, with the next debate set for Bordentown West. Health City Camana Bay delivers its first 3 babies. Health City Camana Bay has officially launched its maternity services with the successful delivery of 3 newborns. First birth took place on March 13, with 2 more following on March 16 and 18. Health City's clinical director, Dr. Binroy Chattoparana Bill, described this milestone as the realization of a vision to provide world-class birthing experiences in the Cayman Islands. Woman arrested on suspicion of murder in Georgetown. A 33-year-old woman was arrested Sunday following the murder of 63-year-old Lincoln Silburn in Georgetown. Police responded to the scene on Mary Street around 4:20 a.m., where Silburn's body was discovered. Authorities have increased patrols in the area and are urging anyone with information to contact 911 or the RCIP's Major Incident Room. Young farmer Shane Lynn Cook embraces hydroponic farming. 21-year-old Shane Lynn Cook has transformed from aspiring pilot to dedicated farmer. Since planting his first crop of carrots in 2022, he has expanded to a 1.5-acre farm in Albuquerque, St. Anne, producing sweet potatoes, peppers, lettuce, and cabbage. He recently joined the Rural Youth Economic Empowerment Program to enhance his farming skills and business acumen. CARICOM Observer Mission confirms Curacao election integrity. The CARICOM Election Observation Mission has confirmed that the March 21 elections in Curacao were conducted smoothly and reflect the will of the people. Chief of Mission Corey Greenidge praised the process, stating that no major concerns were identified. The CEOM was deployed in response to an invitation from the Supreme Election Council of Curacao. Trump announces 25% tariff on countries buying Venezuelan oil. Former U.S. President Donald Trump has declared a 25% tariff on imports from any country purchasing oil or gas from Venezuela. In a Truth Social post, Trump stated that Venezuela has been, quote, very hostile, end quote, to the U.S., justifying the tariff as part of broader sanctions. The move may affect Caribbean nations, including Trinidad and Tobago, which has been granted a waiver for its Dragon Gas project. Those were your news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. Please continue to stay tuned for more updates throughout the day.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, are coming Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out away. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take for yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, don't want to run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
Welcome back. Yes, we are having so much happening all over the world, not just locally. I know that the campaign trail is heating up right here in the Cayman Islands, but did you hear that news about the tariff, Mikey G?
Venezuelan tariff, 25%?
If you purchase oil from Venezuela, you get the 25% tariff as well.
Well, what you're listening to, is I don't think this is unusual to happen.
This is a serious trade war that will certainly affect. It will have a global effect, because then if you have to purchase things more expensive, then the costs for these items will go up. And of course, the consumers will definitely face challenges. So lots happening. And we have to keep our eyes and ears open and know that, prophecy is definitely being fulfilled around us.
When you say these things, people look at Christians stupid, And long time we're hearing about these things, prophecy fulfilling and prophecy. And they keep talking about prophecy this and prophecy that and all that. But for those who understand the principles and understand that these things are going to happen before they happen, like when 30, 40 years ago, or people 60 years ago, and then if you're alive still and seeing it happening now, you have a different appreciation than somebody who was born last 1980 or 1990 or 2001, or even persons who were never exposed, who were born from 1950. Different appreciation, because you have read the Bible, you have looked at scriptures, you have studied along the line, and now you're seeing the exact thing that you knew would happen 40, 50 years ago, and you're seeing it in your very eyes, and you're living to see it. It's an amazing thing to look at. And when everybody is disillusioned, you know you can't join the bandwagon with that. You just know what you're looking at. So yeah, you know what you see. You know, and this Venezuelan thing, people have used this kind of strategy to differentiate and disenfranchise persons even within business sectors.
Yes.
We talked about racism, and we're not aligning the tariff to racism. We're not doing that. We talked about racism yesterday and all the disparities are between colors of skin. CoraleeKaren would have expressed a lot of views in the direction of saying that the person who is the subordinate, who would be the color of the same skin of the person who come, would be invited to dinner, and not the person who is the one who is conducting or is in charge of the department. He takes the person who is training to go instead of the person who is actually the one who's responsible for the training. You know, unless there's a special connection that we don't know about, and usually there is, I don't know, apart from something else. But we see these things as this is the trade war and tariff on someone to it's like persecution in a sense. You might look at it from that perspective, but you can look at the spillover, how it's going to impact the Caribbean.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Because the Caribbean heavily depend on Venezuelan oil for survival.
And you know the thing is,
and so
sometimes we don't realize how interconnected and interrelated we are, and how interdependent too. And so what is happening over there pretty soon will affect over here. We have to stay alert and certainly be aware of what's happening and be ready for impact.
I wish I had the clip up this morning to, you know, and mine was saying put this clip up, you know, just have it ready for
next time. Listen to your mind. But of course, it's time for us to head out of studio.
I know, but I want to say this. I want to say this, Lady Elise. Just quickly, let me just say this.
Yeah.
That there was a experiment done with a professor and his students, and he basically chased one of the students out of the class, telling her that I don't want you in my class, and I you know what? Just get up and leave, please. Just come out of my class. Did nothing wrong. Seemingly did anything wrong. She was just there sitting down. And people just, you should see this, the alarm, the expression on the faces when they look at what the teacher was doing, the professor was doing. But, you know, when it was over, the professor says, ask a question, you know, did you think I treated her fairly? And they said, no, I don't think so. But then what you did was, you didn't say anything, did you? And they says, no, we didn't say anything. They said, well, you know why you didn't say anything? They were waiting to hear the answer. Because until you were affected, you didn't think it concerned you. And so you did not do anything because it was only her that was affected. And so you, by not being affected by me saying to get out of the class, thought yourself not in the same rank. And so you sat there and did nothing to stop me from doing that to one person. So injustice will always prevail as long as we're not seeing that it is a collective and all of us are affected, or when injustice is done, somebody needs to stand up, or we all need to stand up and say this is an injustice that is done and protest that injustice. And unless that happens, then it will continue. And we talk about bullyism and all of that, and this is all along the line of looking at these things. I don't want to rank it to anything in that regard, but you can see where injustice is and how it then transcends itself. Sometimes it's difficult to separate one from the other. That's all I'm saying this morning.
always sharing with us, Mikey G. We do appreciate. And sometimes, even when you're sharing the deeper implications and aligning them to your experiences, just take a listen. And you always remind us, you don't have to agree, just listen, and you can research and see if what is said makes sense. And I know this is a place that we share not just opinions but observations and certainly experiences. So of course, Breakfast Hour always bringing you, causing you to think, just think a little bit more. Tomorrow we'll be joined by our physician, and I believe she will be speaking about multiple sclerosis, as that disease is being featured this month. It's Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. Yes, I almost got tongue-tied.
You have to say it because I'm not trying to attend it this morning. Please.
So join us tomorrow. Dr. K will be on. And of course, you can pose your questions, send your questions over, and she will be also willing to answer those questions. So join us tomorrow on the Breakfast Hour. Also be aware that the radio is online 24/7, www.flashpointmedia.ky.
Alright, like, share, subscribe to Flashpoint, and of course hit the like button, the notification bell, so when these programs come on, you get it first. I want to say good morning to you if you're just joining us. Of course, continue to enjoy your day right here at Flashpoint. We have lots of stuff coming up later on. Of course, join us for the 2 to 6 Super Mix that comes up later on in the afternoon. Of course, our news will be at 12 and so on. Of course.
And just before you go to your bed.
Yes!
Before you go to your bed.
Yes. Just before you go to your bed.
At 7.
At 7 in the evening, right here at Flashpoint. It's going to be a very interesting episode. We should have shared the flyer, but I guess time is up on us, and so we're going to be just saying ta-ta for now. Lady Elise, final words.
Have yourself a wonderful day. May the Lord bless you abundantly, more than you can ever ask, think, or imagine.
Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio, Rise and Shine, your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun, with Mikey G, Lady Elise, and CoraleeKaren, the unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, we'll all seem better outside. Just us in the sky. can relate. Do our actions even matter? Or is this a fate? At least now I'm feeling better. I know I'm here to stay. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air. Look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together.
You're listening to Flashpoint Radio.